Welcome to the Financial Confidence Podcast, where we help you build clarity, control, and confidence through every stage of your financial life. I'm your host, Mike Schuster, and in each episode, we'll explore real strategies, expert insights, and practical guidance to help you make informed decisions and move forward. Welcome back to the Financial Confidence Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Schuster, and we're welcoming back our friend, Chief of Police, Kevin Denney. Kevin, thank you for coming back to the podcast.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me back on again.
Yeah, well, it's been a year probably, so or roundabout, since we've had you on the podcast. We've actually had you at one of our live events also talking about cybersecurity and cybercrime. And I appreciate you coming in because I was just at a national conference that talked about AI and cyber crimes. And what's fascinating is the crimes are keeping up with the speed of AI, which means they're getting smarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so a lot of this conversation we haven't had yet. So I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about what you're seeing, and we'll kind of compare some notes here. But, the other thing that we just talked about here to start off with is, most people are good people, but we want to just take the approach today of this being preventative for people and just slow down and kind of keep things going. So Kevin, start with how things changed since you've been here around a year ago. I mean, what are you seeing that's different?
Right. Well, even just over the last year, last couple of years, you've seen AI generated fraud and criminal activity increasing. And it's still increasing at the pace of the human mind behind it, which is the criminal trying to take advantage of those people who generally think the best of people and things and want to help. And you have a criminal using AI now because they're looking for quantity. The quality of AI now is much better as far as voiceover, scams like that are going on. So they're able to reach out more people with a push of a button than just calling one person at a time with a human actually behind the phone or behind the keyboard. Yeah,
and that is something too that they talked about this at that conference, is that they're able to, with different things on the internet now, take people's voices even off this podcast or you're in the media quite a bit too, and duplicate your voices and such like that. So besides that, what do you think? And give me the last couple weeks here. What kind of calls are your officers going on right now in Grand Island?
Well, we were going on a lot of crypto fraud things, and so we were able to pass through city ordinance stickers to be put on the cryptocurrency machines that are generally in convenience stores, and that's probably helping us because it's raising the awareness of the owners and the clerks that work at those stores to give us a call if they see somebody coming in. Generally, fraudsters are trying to get elderly people to come in, use the crypto machines to deposit money. I've heard that around 10 to 15% of transactions on those crypto machines are actually legitimate, with a vast majority of those being illegal or used by a criminal network.
Wow, that is amazing. We actually had somebody that had been compromised and did that one thing. They went and took $10,000 to $15,000 and went to a crypto machine, just like you said, and it's because they create urgency, mm-hmm. right?
Well, and we work at the multiple legal law enforcement levels. So we work at county, state, local, and federal. We have talked to the federal authorities, FBI generally, about what it looks like to recapture some of that money once it's gone. Generally, you're looking at about a 10%, if it's depending on the time frame that it's reported, maybe getting about 10% of your money back if it goes in the crypto machine and it's gone overseas. Generally, we do get cooperation. The federal Bureau does get cooperation, but getting most of your money back is probably not going to happen. What we also have begun doing too is if you're putting money, actual cash, into a machine and we know about it and it's a fraud investigation, we will write a search warrant and we will seize the machine. And so we have the actual physical money in the machine. That's helpful. A lot of this is about timing. How quickly can we get the information forwarded to us, either from the person that thinks they're being scammed or from somebody that's observing it, a friend, a relative, a clerk at a store, an owner.
Yeah, and really nowadays too, firms like ours are required to do what's called trusted contacts, to where if we see someone being compromised, we can contact their person that they have listed as a trusted contact, and then you guys can get involved, which we've had a case a few years back like that. I can only imagine how busy you guys are right now. I mean, this is going to be crazy and not only that, probably the education that you have to provide your officers now in the investigation and such it's got to be a lot.
Yeah, well, absolutely. You can't just go out and take a report and then wait a week or two for it to make its way to our criminal investigation division. I get calls on a fairly frequent basis by people, owners and executives in banks that are worried about some of their customers maybe being scammed. And so we have to act really quick on the police side to make sure that we get out there and we begin the investigation and we make sure that people are being safe, because a lot of them are scared. They get threats that these individuals may be showing up to get the money. And so we want to make sure that they're comfortable in our community, that we're going to take action quickly on these matters.
Yeah, very much so. So let's focus on now the preventative measures. Let's talk about that. In your opinion, what do you see is like 2 or 3 big points to help prevent this and be proactive to avoid this piece of things?
Well, the sense of urgency that these criminals try to make the victim feel, or the complainant feel, is the biggest thing. So if you feel pressured, if you feel like there's a time crunch, then it's probably a scam. The other things that we really make sure we harp on is if it's an individual being contacted, then we look at maybe coming up with a code word or a phrase for your family. Multi-factor authentication is a big deal.
Yeah.
So that when you try to log in somewhere to move money around or do something, it hits your cell phone generally or your email, so you're able to authenticate that. Those are some big things. The sense of urgency and crisis is a big deal, and AI is getting better when it comes to refined emails that don't look like they're from the Prince of Nigeria or something like that. So they actually look much more refined and legitimate. And the phone conversations, you may not be having a phone conversation with a real person at all. The voice itself may just be AI generated, and it's responding to you based on your questions and comments, and with the goal of trying to get money from you in one way or another.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that is we've really focused, and a lot of the industry is focused on the human intelligence side of things. And I'll give credit to a lot of local financial institutions, and you named some banks here a minute ago. They, just like us, they get to know their clients, and they know when things don't smell right. And if it doesn't pass the smell test, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, and AI is really amazing right now for good things, but also for bad. But the personal connection that you have with your finance person, whether it's at the bank or whether it's at a finance advisory institution, I could call you up on the phone and probably have about a 1 or 2 minute conversation with you and know whether or not I'm talking to the real Mike Schuster or not.
Yeah.
I find that out pretty quick.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. In fact, we've even gone more towards now of we'll call back again to verify again. We're going to dual authentication and verification before we move money out to people. So it's there's just you gotta stay smarter. Okay, let's close on a positive note. What are you listening to right now? What books are you reading? I'm just curious on this myself. What do you? Yeah.
The latest books that I've been looking at is about leaders of character. And that's written by a father-son, Anderson. Dave Anderson is the main writer of that. Both of them are West Point grads. They talk about leadership and character and what that looks like. And something that I've been preaching about since coming in as a police chief is that I look for people that are coachable and approachable. Yep. And we all look for those in our businesses and organizations. If you can bring somebody in who's coachable, who is good with people and reading the audience and talking to people, and you can build in and educate the skill set. And we can do that in the police department as well. So my goal for 21st century policing as a police chief is to bring people in that like people, that we can build a skill set into. If they don't have it, they've got to have character, they've got to have integrity, they've got to have all the things that looks like. But we can build in the rest of those skill sets, the shooting and the driving and the report taking, but there's got to be a human quality of enjoying and liking people in policing. So we're looking at that. So the latest book I'm reading is Leadership of Character by the Anderson father and son. It's a really good book, and it goes into really coaching about that, not just a one-hit come out and talk about it, but it goes into a workbook, self-evaluation, reflection on your own leadership, and then also on what that looks like at an organizational perspective.
Well, and Kevin, that's evident with what you've done with the Grand Island Police Department. You and your leadership team have done a great job of communicating with the community, making people feel safe, and you yourself obviously has been an exceptional leader. So thank you for everything you do, and thank you for taking time to do a podcast like this. Honestly, I mean, it's not like we're top 10 podcasts, but it's nice to get out to our customers and people that want to watch us. Hey, this is, we're looking at these things, and these things are important, out there. So Kevin, thanks for being a guest in our podcast. Looking forward to having you back again sometime soon. And thanks for watching the Financial Confidence Podcast.
Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a registered broker-dealer, member FINRA SIPC. Fixed insurance is offered through various independent insurance companies. Cambridge does not offer tax or legal advice.